Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Simply for Wellness. I'm your host Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about breakups, how to get over them, and how to get back on your feet. You guys already know we're going to get into my weekly recap. First things first, I want to start off by saying this is going to be crazy what I'm about to say right now, but this is going to be my last episode in this room. That's honestly just very crazy for me to say, because I was sitting in my room yesterday. Well, first of all, before I even get into what I'm about to say, this is my second time recording this podcast episode, because yesterday I had recorded and everything went smooth. It was perfect. But then when I uploaded it on my computer, the lighting was just terrible. Like, it made me look so washed out, and I was just like, what happened? And I'm just that's besides the point. But yeah, this is my second time recording this episode, so like I'm just kind of a little bit irritated because of that, because I'm just like, I could have just been editing right now, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so I was just sitting in my room the day before yesterday, because when I was saying this, it actually was the day before. So yeah, so the day before yesterday, I was just kind of like taking it in that we're like moving, because I'm just like, like this is becoming so real now. Friday, we're actually gonna start moving all of our things into the new place, because all of us are off on Friday, so like it's just perfect. And I'm just like, oh my god, like this is really happening. And like I love my room, I love my space. As you can tell, like I take really good care of my space. And like I just been thinking about like the new place, and I'm just like, damn, like I hope everything like feels the same, and like it just fits the way that I want it to, because like I was just like, damn, like I don't know if it's like the same like room size or if it's like a little bit smaller, but I'm just like I'm just been overthinking about that. But like we'll cross that bridge when we get there on Friday. Yeah, other than that though, I'm like super excited, and I'm just ready for this new fresh beginning and this new change. The environment feels like fresh and exciting, and I can tell like everybody in the family is just really like, everyone's just really excited for the move, and like just ready for the fresh beginning. And like the place that we're moving to, like it's just close to everything. It's close to my favorite thrift store too, which I'm like super excited for, because I love thrifting, if you guys didn't know that about me. But yeah, so I'm just excited, a little bit sad, nervous, anxious, but it's a little bit of everything. But I'm very excited though. But yeah, that's just how I'm feeling for a weekly recap, and that's what's been going on. So yeah, we found a place, we're moving Friday, so this is gonna be my last episode in this room, not my last episode period, but in this room. So the next episode that you guys are probably gonna see after this video, you're gonna see like the new setup and everything. Probably not gonna be really like going into like my setup, because I do have a separate YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, follow me on Simply Bridget, where I do like vlogs and stuff. I'm probably gonna be recording a video of me moving and packing and putting myself in a new place. So but I'll definitely be sharing the process on my vlog page, so yeah, stay tuned for that. So now let's get into the inspiration for today's video. The inspiration for today's video actually stems from my own personal experience, and of course I have people around me that are going through this currently, especially family. But yeah, I just felt like it was just a perfect episode, because I feel like this is that type of season, and even from like last year, I've noticed that everybody was just going through a lot of breakups and heartbreaks, and it's still kind of carrying on to this year. But like everyone kind of goes through like their little breakups and their little like on and off situationships. But yeah, so that's the inspiration for today's episode. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get straight into today's video. First thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the breakups is obviously like probably it feels like the worst thing possible, and it feels like you're never gonna get over it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am living proof that you will get onto the other side. I obviously have been in relationships in the past, so we're like I don't really count like those other relationships, but like this is probably like one of my very serious relationships that I've ever been in. We've been together for like 6 years now, so, and it was definitely an experience, definitely a learning experience. But yeah, me and my boyfriend been together 6 years. If you guys didn't know, I do have a boyfriend, and yeah, I just learned a lot from my relationship, and I'm still learning a lot when it comes to this relationship. But we finally got to a point where we're maturing, and we're understanding each other a lot more. We're able to have like healthy healthy conversations and healthy arguments. And boy, let me tell you, we didn't think we would get there, but I'm telling you right now that you will be able to get through what you're going through right now, and you will be able to be happy again, and that you're not alone in this process. So I'm here to help you get through it, and I'm here to help you get back on your feet, because you eventually will be getting back on your feet. You just got to give yourself some grace and some time. First thing that I want to talk about is obviously feeling it out. And I was listening to this audiobook, or I was reading a book, I can't remember what it was, but the topic it was talking about was it said feel it to heal it. And I thought that was perfect, because it was just like, yes, that's perfect. That's a perfect way to describe, like, you know, when it comes to like your feelings and emotions, you definitely got to feel it to heal it. Let it pass through. It's like toxic thoughts or just regular thoughts in general. Like, you don't want to focus all your attention and energy onto like specific thoughts that are coming to your head, or like kind of like dissecting it. You kind of just want to let it pass through, like just water or a river. Like, you just want to let it just flow. Just let it flow, and just let it stream. That's the same thing that you want to do when it comes to emotions. Like, you definitely want to feel it, heal it, and let it go. I'm not one to tell you that it's gonna be easy, and I'm not going to be the one person to tell you to get over it. And, you know, there's plenty of fishes in the sea, because, you know, I've been that person when it comes to like other people like being in breakups, because I never really understood the level of being in love and the level of like heartache when it comes to breaking up with someone. You know, I've had like baby breakups, but if not, I've never been in love how I am now. You break up with your partner, and it's just like a gut-wrenching feeling. Like, it's like you're being stabbed in the heart like multiple times, and it's just like, oh, like it hurts so much. So I'm not here to tell you to get over it. And, you know, there's plenty of fishes in the sea, because, you know, although there are, it doesn't take away from the fact that it hurts. Take your time with feeling your emotions. If it takes you crying like every day or weeks or months, because I know how it is. Like, you know, you're gonna have those moments where like you feel like you're gonna be okay, and you know, there's other days where like the rush of emotions come through, and you want to just let those emotions come through. You don't want to suppress those emotions. You don't want to fake those emotions. You just want to let it go through you. You know, feel it to heal it. And, you know, take as much time as you need, but don't let yourself dwell with those emotions, you know, continuously. You know, you want to just feel it, have a little pep talk with yourself, you know, after you're done crying, and, you know, get back to whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? You definitely want to allow yourself to feel, pay attention to those feelings. So the next thing that I want to talk about is, obviously you're going to be feeling a lot through this process, but, you know, when it comes to breaking up with someone that you really loved and, you know, wanting to move on, you know, get back on your 2 feet, you definitely need to cut off the friends, the family members, people that like are associated with that person, and things that remind you of that person, so you are not being triggered constantly. This is a very crucial step when it comes to, you know, getting back on your feet and, you know, getting over someone. Although it is really hard to do those things, because, you know, you still have that attachment, you still have those feelings. It will be better for you in the long run. I'm not gonna say it won't hurt you as much, because, you know, it definitely will, but you definitely either want to have a conversation with those people, or like, you know, they'll definitely understand even if you do have those conversations with the people. But if you don't want to, and you just want to do it, even just like getting off of social media or going on D&D and not talking to anyone, if you are friends with people that are like very concerned about like your well-being, if you don't want to like express, you know, what's going on with you, just be like, hey, like, you know, I'm just going through a lot right now, and I just kind of need time for myself. You know, they'll definitely understand. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone, but like definitely protect yourself and protect your triggers, because like if you don't protect your triggers, you're gonna feel like you're never gonna get over this. And when it comes to me and talking about my personal experience, because, you know, I'm always going to make episodes about my personal experience and how I handle it. I know for me that I would constantly go on their friends page or cousins, family members, or stalk their Instagram, and like I would just drive myself insane, and it would just hurt so much, because like you had such a deep attachment to that person that it feels like life is just kind of carrying on for them, but like you kind of just feel stuck, you know, where you are. And it's just like, one, it feels like they never loved you. Two, it feels like it didn't phase them in a way. And, you know, that's not true, because everybody handles pain differently. Everyone handles their emotions differently. So like what we're seeing in the outside is not really what they're feeling inside. So, you know, when we're seeing from the outside looking in, you kind of just make up these fake scenarios, make up these fake narratives in your head that's not true. So it's kind of like you're kind of going in circles in your mind, and you're going to drive yourself crazy, and it's going to hurt more, and you're going to cut a deeper hole for yourself that's going to be really hard to dig yourself out of. You definitely want to avoid any triggers that will remind you of that person, so it could help you move on, heal, and just kind of get back on your feet. When you're doing this for yourself, you got to remind yourself that you want better for yourself, one, and two, you want to make space for a fresh new beginning. You want to make space for yourself. And when it comes to being in love and being in a relationship, especially for a very long time, you kind of forget like what your life purpose is in a way, because when you're with this person, it's like you've revolved your life around this one person together. Like when it comes to in a relationship, we constantly talking about, oh, like I want babies with you, I want a marriage with you, and like you start thinking about the future and like marriage and everything together. You start talking about everything that you're supposed to do together. So it's like when you guys are no longer together, it's kind of like losing an identity or losing like where your place in life is. This will help you get your life back in a way. Kind of remember what your life was before this person, because listen, you came out of your mama's coochie on your own. He didn't come out the mama's coochie with you, so like remember that. I always constantly tell myself, and I know that's like like what the hell, but that's true. I always told myself, because it's just like you made it in this world alone, and you will be fine alone. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean like you're gonna end up alone, but like just know that you were okay without this person before you met them, and you're gonna be okay with them. You're going to be okay after, without this person. You know what I mean? Like you don't need this person. Although it feels like you need them, you do not need them. They may have made an impact in your life, but doesn't mean that like there wasn't a lesson to be learned and there isn't someone else out there for you. And I know I said that in the beginning that like, there's plenty of fishes in the sea, but like, it's true. Like we kind of get wrapped up in like, this was my person. Like we're supposed to be together forever. Trust me. Like I was there too. Like I was that person where I was begging for that person to love me, to be with me, and questioning what the hell did I did wrong? Like what is wrong with me? And I'm here to tell you that there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you did to contribute to the relationship for it to end. Things happen for a reason. There's a lesson to be learned, and eventually you will understand that lesson and it will be healing for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't beg for someone to love you. Don't beg for someone to stay with you, because it's gonna make you unhappy. You're forcing someone to be with you that doesn't want to be with you, and it's just like you're in like La La Land and Delulu Land, because it's just like, oh yeah, like we're still together, but it doesn't mean like he wants to be together with you. Doesn't mean that he loves you. He may love you, but like, does he want to be with you? Probably not. Gather yourself and gather your belongings and hold your head up high, because you will get out of this stronger. Right now it doesn't seem like that, because right now you're in like this really dark tunnel, but eventually, like I said, you will see the light. You will see the lesson. So make space for that fresh new beginning. Make space back for your life again, because when we're in a relationship again, like we kind of lose track of like what our life was meant to be for ourselves without that person. So definitely cut off those triggers so you can make space for yourself. The next thing I want to talk about is channeling that energy. When we're really sad, it kind of makes us feel like we don't really want to do anything, and we kind of just want to lay in bed and just cry and mope around, watch movies, and like eat ice cream or eat a whole bunch of food and just do things that are just like not good for us. Stalking his Instagram or just looking at his every move. It was just very, very unhealthy for me. I just kind of like had a conversation with myself and also with my therapist. So another thing I also want to talk about, like when it comes to channeling your energy, you definitely want to talk to someone. I know for me, when I was going through my breakup, I definitely started to see a therapist again, because I was an emotional wreck. I can tell you guys right now, I know it's not easy, but when you have someone to talk to, and like if you're like me, that kind of just is a little bit private about like their life behind the scenes, but if you have like that one friend that you really trust and like you can really talk to, definitely talk to someone and like let them in on like what's going on, and like they can help you like move forward and help you not like drive yourself crazy. You know what I mean? So for me, it was just really hard, because it was just like, damn, like I don't know who I am right now. When you get to that point, when you lose who you are, it becomes a very scary thing. Anything you do is associated with that person. So talking to a counselor, talking to a therapist will help you get back on track, and will help you remind you that this is your life and you will get your life back, and that like this person shouldn't be associated with your life because you have something going for yourself that this person did not contribute to, or this person is not a part of. When I talk about channeling your energy, I definitely mean like use that sadness, use that anger that you have, and put it to something useful, put it to something healthy. Make some art, go outside, go for a run, do some meditation, do some yoga, go to the gym. Going to the gym is so helpful. When I was going to the gym, like I had those little moments where like I was in the gym and I was looking at myself and I'm like, damn. And I was just like, I would have like those random like sad moments where I'm just like I would just get like so sad, but then I'll pick myself up and I'm like, girl, you look so good. So when you're in the gym, you're like, you kind of like working on yourself and you're putting that attention onto you, like you kind of just forget about like who that person was, because it's just like you got to start pouring that love back into yourself. Take away all that love that you gave to that person and pour it back into yourself. Doing something that like you enjoyed, picking up new hobbies, like going to a pottery class or cooking class, dancing class. Take that energy and put it into something beautiful. Get out of that slump, get out of that mindset of like no one will love me and like that you're constantly just going to be sad forever. You want to do like activities and hobbies that are good for your mind and good for your soul, because when you do things that are good for your mind and your soul, you're going to start to feel good. Slow change is sustainable change. I heard this in the audiobook that I was listening to. It was written by a therapist, and I think it's called Why Nobody Told Me This Before. So I was listening to this book yesterday. Actually, she had said slow change is sustainable change. So no matter what you're doing and no matter like what it is, like when it comes to like channeling your energy, like let's say like you just go for a walk outside and you feel like that's not a big deal, or like you feel like that's nothing, that is something. Like you decided to not mope around in bed and be depressed, and you decided to just go for a walk outside and indulge in nature. Even if you like listening to music or listening to an audiobook, like you did something, and you should be proud of yourself, because slow change is still change. You're still deciding to make change in yourself and do something that's going to benefit you. That's definitely what I want to say when it comes to that. Like, don't beat yourself up, don't kick yourself while you're down. That's also another thing that she said when it comes to like making slow change. Don't kick yourself while you're down. Like, no matter what it is that you're doing, just know that you're doing the best that you can. And I know for me, like, I would beat myself up on the days where like I didn't go to the gym or I wasn't doing something productive when it comes to like my podcast or my YouTube. At the end of the day, like if I had those days where I weren't doing it, I still had those days where I was still trying really hard to go to the gym, read a book, hang out with my cousin, doing something that will keep me out of this funk or keep me out of this headspace, because I knew I wanted better for myself, and I knew I didn't want to have someone else to have a certain control over me or a certain power over me. And that's how it kind of felt. Like it felt like I was just like, why did I allow this person to have so much power over me? Why do I feel this sad? Why do I feel like I need this person? It kind of fueled me. Like I was angry. Like I was sad, but I was angry, like it kind of like made me like, no, like I want to let this person know that I don't need them. You want to make it seem like, this breakup didn't phase you, although it really did phase you a lot in the inside. You kind of want to pretend, fake it till you make it. Rihanna was talking about this in this interview clip that I had saw like recently, but it was like an old interview, and she was just like, listen honey, you gotta fake it till you make it. If you don't feel like it in the moment, just fake it, and eventually you will feel like it. Let's say if you fake your happiness, your mind will kind of be confused by that, because they'll be like, wait, but you're not really happy. But it's just like eventually your mind will kind of like understand that like maybe she is kind of happy. So it will kind of help you play mind games with your mind, and eventually you'll start to feel good, even just by just pretending. If you're watching this video, you should be very proud of yourself, because you are making a change. You are listening to this episode because you want better for yourself and you want to get back on your feet. Although it's going to take you, however long to get there, just know you will eventually will get there. Fall in love with this journey. Fall in love with falling in love with yourself again, falling in love with life again, because life doesn't stop just because this person left you. I had to remind you guys that, pour that love into yourself and pour that love into your family and friends that love you and care for you and have been there for you throughout this time, because that's beautiful and that's a blessing. The next thing that I want to talk about is the closure part. And the closure part is probably one of like the hardest things when it comes to breakups and getting back on your feet, because you're going to constantly ask yourself so many questions, and so many repeated questions at that. Don't ask for closure. If you really, really, really do want to find closure, because I know for me, I had so many questions. I had so many doubts in myself. I just kept beating myself up because I felt like it was my fault. And listen, like, no matter if you cheated or if you did something so terrible, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we are human. We are growing. We are still maturing. And even like when we're adults too, like, you know, people make mistakes and people are learning. And, you know, when people are older, even like, and they do make mistakes, don't be so hard on them, because at the end of the day, like, they probably didn't have their mother or father, a good figure or role model to kind of like help them understand that this is wrong, or they didn't have the tools to kind of do better. You know, as long as you're making the change or wanting to make the change to be a better person, you know, that's all that matters. When you're asking for closure and you're like asking these questions to yourself, like, you know, like, what happened? What did I do wrong? What has helped me? I had written a letter to my ex, and I poured my whole heart into that letter. Like, I was literally crying while writing this letter, because it was a closure, like, you know, for the both of us, but it was also closure for myself. I was kind of ready to close the chapter in a way. And I was just like, you know, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'll know I'll be okay, because I know at this point in time, I'm feeling like I don't need you. You know, it's a want, not a need at this point in my life. So if that will help you guys, I mean, I would recommend that, like, writing a letter. Even if you don't give it to your ex, you know, definitely write that closure for yourself. Write that letter for yourself, and you will feel good. Even if like you don't want to write a letter, journal about it and write your feelings, brain dump about it. Like, I'm telling you, it felt so therapeutic for me. It felt so healing, and no one told me to do it. Like, it was just one of those things where like I needed to do it, because if I didn't do it, I would constantly keep thinking about those questions and having no answers, and like it would just be driving me insane. So when it comes to like closure, you know, don't ask them like, you know, was it you? Like, why did we break up? Because listen, like, if you go to your ex's house, or they come to your house, or if you've seen that person face to face, or you're on the phone, whatever the case may be, like 9 times out of 10, it may lead to like you guys doing a repeated cycle, you guys having sex or making up, and then eventually you guys break up again. It's going to become an unhealthy cycle. But if you have self-control and like you have that, you know, that conversation with yourself, and you feel like, no, like, I'm not going to allow this to happen, you know, then go for it. Have that conversation. And if you feel like you're mentally and emotionally strong for that conversation, then do it. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like don't do it, but you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't recommend it if you're not in that headspace. Just know everything happened for a reason. We may not know the answer right now, but eventually we will find the answer later, and we will learn the lesson that was to be learned in the past, you know. But right now you won't understand, but eventually you will. The last thing I want to talk about is detachment, and, you know, kind of accepting it and releasing it. When it comes to detachment, we want to be detached from our feelings without allowing them to control us. When we kind of understand our emotions and our feelings, and we kind of just detach from that and don't let those feelings and emotions control you, it'll be easier to move on. You will kind of feel a sense of relief. A weight has lifted off your shoulders. You'll kind of hit a point in your life where you're gonna look at yourself in the mirror and you're gonna be like, I'm okay. And that's another thing that I want to tell you guys, like, repeating positive affirmations in the mirror or positive affirmations to yourself, it will definitely help you kind of rewire your brain. Tell yourself, instead of saying this is my fault, this is a learning experience, because it is a learning experience at the end of the day. You know, you kind of want to repeat positive affirmations to yourself so you can rewire those thoughts, rewire those negative thoughts and those thought patterns, and switch them in for a new way of thinking. You know, once you detach yourself from those feelings, and you know, you're kind of at a point in your life where like, I'm okay and I know I'm gonna be okay, I suggest going on a date. Even if it's not a date, like going out to public places where there's gonna be people around, you're meeting new people. Life should be made of experiences, adventures, and memories. It's still gonna sting a little bit. It's gonna take time. it's going to take time to move on. It's going to take time for you to be in another relationship. Definitely don't rush into another relationship for sure. Like, take this time to really just pour that love back into yourself and enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, and know that you will eventually find someone. If not, it's okay. Don't stress it, because again, you will find someone eventually. And if you don't find someone, you always have yourself. So yeah, detach. Just kind of be where you are right now. Don't focus on the past. Don't think about the future, and just think about the now. So you don't allow those things to control you anymore. That was a quick little episode on like breakups and getting back on your feet. You know, I hope this episode helped you put things into perspective and kind of just put yourself first, because you are the most important person in your life. Although you guys don't really think about it like that, remember that, you know, everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own story. You have to cherish yourself, cherish your life, cherish where you are in life right now, and know that like life can just flash before your eyes before you even know it. And the more you don't pour into yourself, the more you're just kind of letting other people pour into you, and it's just, you're gonna kind of feel unfulfilled. It's not a good feeling. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I hope, you know, this helped you guys just a little bit. You know, if it didn't help a little bit, I hope you guys can take something away from it. You will take a couple steps back when you're trying to move forward, because, you know, again, this isn't a easy thing to go through. So don't beat yourself up when it comes to like, you know, making change for yourself and you kind of catch yourself moving a couple steps back. Like, just know it's normal. I've done it too. I've been in that place where like, you know, I was moving like 10 steps forward and I kind of moved like 4 or 5 steps back. And, you know, as long as you kind of keep trying to move forward and you keep trying to make a change for yourself, you'll eventually get to the finish line. Remind yourself your worth and what's really worth fighting for. And, you know, what's really worth fighting for is you. You'll be okay. I love you guys so much. Make sure you guys follow the Simply for Wellness page on YouTube. Make sure you listen on Spotify and definitely on Instagram as well. Follow me at Simply for Wellness on Instagram, and make sure you also follow me on my personal page at Bridget.p. And like I mentioned before, I do have a separate YouTube channel called Simply Bridget, where I make vlogs, videos about lifestyle, beauty, and wellness. So yeah, definitely stay tuned to that channel as well. Again, I love you guys so much. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you guys turn on the notification bell on so you guys are notified every time that I post. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and thank you guys so much for tuning in.